All right, so today I'm going to just create a simple loop, little uptown sort of jump thing in G, and I'm gonna hit my little looper on here. If you got a looper, if you know how to use it, it can be a handy little thing for practicing or for writing or whatever. So mine's pretty simple. I'm just gonna come up with a rhythm, and then I'm gonna show you how to solo over it. So it goes something like this. Okay, so I've now created a loop, and I'm just going from a G to a C9 to a G, so 1/4 to a C9 to a G. Well, it's like a seventh, right? Then to the C9, typical blues change, and then I'm going up to the 5 chord, which is a D9. I'm gonna walk it down. Back to the G, and I'll do a little walk down. And then from a D sharp 9 to a D9. If you don't know those chords, you can look them up. I'm not going to take them apart here, but you know, a G chord looks like that, power G chord. If you lift up your pinky, you're going to get a G7. That kind of G7, not the folky sign. And then a C9 looks like this. So on the A string, you got a 3, 2 on the D, and then all the rest are 3s for the G, the B, and the high E. That's like the old James Brown chord. That's my 4 chord. Okay, back to the 1, which is the G, G7. Then the same exact shape as the C9 is a D9. So it's up here on the 5th fret, right? And then I walk it down. And then what I do is, get back down to the C. What I do is I go ahead and hit that G7th once, and I'll just do a quick walk down, which is the 3rd fret of the D string and the 3rd fret of the high E, and I pinch it. Okay, and walk it down. Now the pinky stays the same, but you walk down the D string chromatically. It ends up sounding like this. I'll go to a D sharp 9, which is the same as the D9, but up half a step, and then down to the D9, and you start over. Now let's see if I identify that correctly, and I'll see if I can play over the top of it. Here we go. So that's me soloing over it. I just haven't kind of messing around a little bit. So the way I picture that is I don't get too much into scales anymore. You know, it's good to learn your scales, but then once you learn them, you know how to use them. Kind of throw that out for the moment, because there's nothing worse than hearing somebody play it. Sounds really like super dorky to play that over the blues. So what I really go for is I approach soloing more like how a singer would do it. You know, get a melody. You know, that's the way I like to, in my mind. I've seen some guys like Robert Cray and other people, they actually sing their solos. They go, yeah, that's cool. I don't, but that's okay if you do, because I think it's a good way to identify a melody, you know. So I'm really working out that G chord. I basically spell it out, and what I do is I'll wiggle it around, like instead of just doing I'll do something like using those same Blues box. So you can use the same notes over and over on a jump blues like that. You can play, you know. Just using the same three notes. Four notes. But what's cool in the blues is to, I call it slurring, is when you find a melody you like and you slur off it. So let's say I'm using these notes. Basically spelling out the G chord. It's in that box, and you can, if you just slur it a little bit, like come up to it, slide up to it. So I'm just going from the 3 to the 4 in the G string. Or you can hammer it. To do is I'll repeat the same G note in 2 different positions. So it goes from the high E3 to the 8 on the B. And it sounds like this if you play it. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But if you hear it in context, I'm going to do the 2 moves I just showed you, one of which is blues box, and the other one is just jumping the octave. Now let's see what that sounds like with a little rhythm background on it. All right, here we go. So what I'm basically working off is that major pentatonic in the G, but I'm staying within the context of the D string to the E string. I'm not getting all over the neck, except to say I jumped up there. And if you want to, you can punctuate those chords with different voicings. So, you know, I showed you the G7th, which again is just a power G chord minus the pinky. Pretty easy, right? I showed you the C9, and back to the G7, and then the 5 chord, of course, is the D9, and then you walk it down to the C, and then back to the G. And do what you can do there, instead of doing, which I just showed you, you can do this like. Okay, I'm gonna do that in slow motion. I'm stretching the 1, 2, 3, 4, for the 5th fret of the G string. I'm going. Then I'm picking up the B string on the 3rd fret, and the high E on the 3rd fret. So, and you got the B on the 6th fret, back to the 3rd fret. So. Fret on the G, and then back to the 5th fret on the D. Okay, and what that sounds like in the walk down, one guitar is playing, the other one's going. Okay, and it'll make sense when I play it along here. So now let's do all the licks I showed you, which were basically working off of, and I'm just, you know, slurring around. You get a lot of mileage out of hammer-ons. Just pick out a melody, any melody. same as the D9. So it's the same configuration. So what you can do is you can use that high G as an alternate against this. So I can start out 1, 2, 3, 4. And then back to the C. I'll show you that one in a second. See, it's a nice voicing. So that's just me messing around. If you get something out of that, cool. If not, don't worry about it. But understand that I'm just working off of these notes. And every once in a while I'll slur it. So this isn't a strict note by note lesson. This is just me playing the blues in G. But it's jump blues, Chicago style. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you down the road.